So this is about a famous piece of baseball history. I brought these to a meeting in November a few years ago, but I think PowerPoint will be a nice medium. Like George showed us, PowerPoint's a great medium to show you, give you a little bit more of the story. This is about the shot heard around the world, and it was a baseball game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants in 1951. Those of you who are baseball fans don't need any introduction to that. But a lot of us, myself included, don't really know the background. But in 1951, the Giants actually came from behind to catch up with the Dodgers on the last day of the season in the National League standings. The Giants came from 13 down. In the process, they won 16 straight games between August 12th and August 27th. And they also won their final 7 games, while the Dodgers lost 6 of their last 10. So they ended up both finishing with a 96-58 record. So that brought a playoff, and this was the first playoff scheduled in National League history, because prior to 1969, there were no playoffs. The best team, the first place team in the National League, always met the first place team in the American League in the World Series. So they played the first game in Brooklyn at Ebbets Field, and they played games 2 and 3 at the Polo grounds, which was in Upper Manhattan. The first game was won by the Giants by a score of 3-1. The two gentlemen in the photo in the cachet here were the two that had the biggest role in this special moment in baseball. Ralph Branca is in street clothes. Bobby Thompson is in his uniform. In that game 1, Branca started, and he gave up a 2-run homer to Bobby Thompson in the 4th inning, and that made the score 2-1, and the Giants ended up winning the game by a score of 3-1. Game 2 was a blowout. The Dodgers beat the Giants 10-0. This handsome man here, Jackie Robinson, hit a 2-run home run to left field in the top of the 1st inning, and the Dodgers went ahead 2-0, and they never looked back. Game 3, Robinson also started things off for the Dodgers. He hit a single off the Giants starting pitcher, Sal McGlee, and he was called the barber because he liked to throw inside and rather high up on the batter's body, so they called him the barber. He hit a single between Al Dark, who was at shortstop, and Bobby Thompson, who was the third baseman, and that allowed Pee Wee Reese, who was the Dodgers shortstop, to score the first run. And then no runs were scored until the 7th inning. And in the top of the 7th, Bobby Thompson hit a fly ball to center field, and it was deep enough to score his teammate Monty Irvin, who was on third. So what's known as a sacrifice fly. And Newcomb got the next batter, though, Willie Mays, who was playing in his rookie season, to ground into a double play. So after 7 innings, the game was tied 1-1. Top of the 8th inning, the Dodgers took a 4-1 lead. Reese and Snyder hit singles. Duke Snyder was their Hall of Fame center fielder. Reese scored when Sal McGlee threw a wild pitch. Jackie Robinson was at bat at that point, and they just decided to put him on first base since it was open, and Jackie Robinson was causing nothing but trouble for him. Andy Pafko, the left fielder, singled, and that allowed Duke Snyder to score. And third baseman Billy Cox hit a 2-out single to send Robinson home with the 4th run. So Don Newcomb was still pitching in the 9th inning. The Giants were down to their final chance. Al Dark led off. He hit a single, which was nicely placed between first and second base, between Bill Hodges and Jackie Robinson. Giants right fielder Don Muller then singled to right field, which sent Al Dark to third base. And left fielder Monty Irwin, who scored earlier in the game, hit a pop foul to the first baseman, Go Hodges. So the Giants were down, but they were not out. With one out, first baseman Whitey Lockman doubled the center field. That allowed Al Dark to score. So the score was now 4-2. And Don Muller went to third base. The Dodgers manager took Don Newcomb out of the game, and he replaced him with Game 1 starting pitcher Ralph Branca. And Leo DeRocher sent Clint Hartung, who was a young player who was known for his speed, into third base to run for Muller. Now, here's where why this moment is so famous today. A man in Brooklyn asked his mother to tape record the last half inning of the radio broadcast because he was at work. There were several radio broadcasts. There's a interview on YouTube with the famous broadcaster Ernie Harwell, who actually did the TV broadcast. This was actually the first playoff series that was broadcast from coast to coast. He did the TV, and he stated that there were 5 different radio broadcasts, and one of them was being called by his teammate in the Giants radio booth, who was Rush Hodges. And this is the broadcast who, if you've heard it before, this is the broadcast in the account that you've heard. It was made on a magnetic tape recorder, which was one of those many pieces of consumer electronics that was made available after World War II. So going with Hodges' call, this is the guy that was at third base. Clint Hartung down the line, not taking any chances. Lockman without too big of a lead at second, but he'll be running like the wind if Thompson hits one. Branca throws. And there's a long drive. It's going to be, I believe. And you can probably hear it in your head if you've heard it before. The Giants won the pennant. Hodges continued to describe the scene at the Polo grounds. This is a cachet with a photo of the hit. And as you can see, it was a line drive straight into the left field stands. And here he is at home plate. This is a stamp that was obviously issued to commemorate the event. Now, I don't know if you noticed as I was going by those postcards, but those postcards were all addressed to the same person. And it turned out that this was the guy who they were addressed to. I have a few postcards. The guy's name was Bruce Ladd. He had the postcards of Hartung, Lockman, Branca, and Thompson. And that postcard of Al Dark was also his. He collected them as a boy. When he grew up, he actually got to be in ESPN magazine because when he grew up, he became a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. And he used baseball as a way to connect with people. He formed something he called the Emil Verbin Society. And Emil Verbin was a utility baseball player for the Cubs back in the day. And he named it after him because, he just believed he was a scrappy, everyday utility type player. And it actually was until he discontinued it, probably 15 years ago or so, it was actually considered to be a very exclusive club for the who's who of Washington, D.C. to be a part of. So, and Mr. Ladd did pass away. I noted it in 2020. He was 84 years old. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.